What's up with it? Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. Here again with another one. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not a member. And also hit the notification bell so that you're able to get all, I mean all of my content. We got to understand something, okay? And while I have basketball listed up here, this pertains to all sports. You know, everything from basketball to football to boxing, baseball, wrestling, MMA, soccer, you name it. It takes a special type of individual to do what athletes do because they're wired different, okay? They're wired different. You know, a lot of people think that it's easy to do what they do when it's not. And it's extremely hard. It's extremely harder to maintain a consistency at a high level for an extended period of time. You know, such as the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, such as Karl Malone, such as LeBron James at this stage of the game. You know, and you know these guys are just wired differently. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when it comes to football, you got to be wired different to play a sport like football because not only are you putting your life at risk, you know, you're putting other people's lives at risk. The reason why you putting your life at risk and your health, you know, your livelihood too at risk is because there's so many things that could take place inside either that square circle, inside those lines, on that field, shit in the water, whatever. You know, you just have to be wired different. A lot of people don't understand that if you're gonna sit there and criticize a player for, you know, being a certain a certain type of way, you really have to put yourself in their shoes because listen, it's easy to call a guy trash or you know a bust or something like that, right? Or a bum when you've never you've never even stepped foot on the floor, right? I've said this time and time again. You know, a lot of people look at these sports that these guys play on a daily basis. Some of these guys have sacrificed so much, and they're sacrificing now. They're sacrificing their bodies. You know, some of these guys after they retire from the sport, believe it or not, they're not guaranteed to live a long time. They're really not. Everybody think that these guys want because they've given pretty much their whole entire life in terms of dedication to whatever respective sport that they have. Like, you know, like okay, LeBron, right? He's been playing 20 years. That's the majority of his life. That's a majority of his life. And you got to be wired different to do that. You got to be wired. See, like, I trip out, man, because what you might not be able to handle, another athlete can times 10. You got to think about it. If you go in an NFL facility, right? You're dealing with guys 9 times out of 10 whose pain tolerance it supersedes the imagination of the average person. And what I'm talking about is their hurt might feel good in comparison to you feeling like you about to check out. And so you have to have that type of mentality. It takes a special person in order to do what they do. And a lot of people, it's like the saying goes, you either have it or you don't. And that's not talking about just skill, because there's some guys that's not that skilled. There's some guys that's not that talented. But the thing about it is, and what you have to understand is that there's always going to be that that person that can handle just a little bit more than you. Listen, we shit on all these players all the time. I say, for instance, like Anthony Davis, right? Who I've talked about time and time again. I said he's a walking injury. You know, I tried to defend AD at first in terms of him being soft and stuff like that because I actually like the guy as a person, even though I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? He seemed like a genuine guy, at least on from the outside looking in and stuff. But where I had to part ways and look at it from another angle is that this guy is a walking injury. However, I can understand why a guy like Anthony Davis would try to, you know, and I'm not saying this right, but try to fake an injury. Because look, this guy can barely stand up. And I'm not making no excuses for him because you played this game, you knew what came with it. These guys that play this game, they know what comes with the game. If you got 50 plus injuries under your belt, everything all over your body, and you still running up and down the court and can barely move, you have to look at how that guy looks when this guy gets out of bed. And we're not talking about a guy that's average height. We talking about damn near 7 footers. Some of these guys, their knees, their back, their lower extremities, stuff like that, they hurt. And especially after they play. I used to know a guy, I think I've said this before, but he played in the NFL and he worked in the office. And this guy could not sit in a normal chair. He had to sit in a special chair because he had a ruptured disc, and he also had a whole bunch of other problems concerning his lower extremities. And he always told me, he said, "Man, you got to be wired different. You got to be wired different." And a lot of people don't really understand that. Hold on for a minute, you guys. And look, this isn't a polar motivation or anything like that. This isn't any of that. But what this is a reminder that some of you guys, you think is truly easy to go out there and play, and you have to play. You're playing against several things. You're playing against the crowd. You're playing against the opposite team. You're playing against the person that's right in front of you. The opposition, of course, and then more importantly, you playing against yourself because it becomes a mental battle. And some of y'all can't get past that mental battle. That's why I trip out on some guys, man. Even with boxing, right? It takes a special person to get inside that ring. Even even the what you call is the sorriest boxer or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Even them, you have to look. You have to say, okay, well, dang, I got to give him some sort of credit because it's not easy to get in there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys, a lot of guys right now, man, are so insecure of everything, man. Much less, having stage fright and stuff like that. So you got to imagine what some of these guys are being told. You know what I'm saying? Like some of y'all have no clue or no idea what some of these people are saying because you do have a lot of lunatics and stupid people, man, that come across these athletes and will try to say anything. You got to think about it. You're dealing with when you go inside of arena, in a large setting. Some of these guys are doing research on you. They know about your life. They study you and stuff like that. And they might end up saying it to you. They might say something to you in the game where they're close enough courtside or something like that, and they'll be like, they'll say something, like they, yeah, well, I know your family used to do this and used to do that and stuff like that. And it doesn't even have to be any trash talk, but the fact that they know that and shit like that, you're like, damn, these motherfuckers is really crazy and they're studying me to a T, to the point where they're obsessed with what I'm doing. And that's what some of these guys are actually dealing with. So what I'm saying is like it becomes that type of battle, but you have to be wired different. Like even right here, looking at a guy like Dennis Rodman, okay? Like I said, one of my favorite players. You got to be wired different uh, to go up against, a big 7 footer like Shaquille O'Neal. You know what I'm saying? When the average guy, when they look at Shaquille O'Neal, let's just be honest, man. No, none of you will want to get socked in the eye by Shaquille O'Neal. But a lot of guys is willing to take that risk. So like I'm saying, man, you gotta be wired different. You gotta be cut different. Even with some of the injuries that take place and stuff like that, that's like when I was younger, I used to be able to handle looking at a gruesome injury or something like that. But now I turn my head, and when I'm talking about younger, I'm talking about like when I before I hit high school and all that stuff. Wasn't no big deal. But see, you get to playing and you get to taking it more serious, and you've been in excruciating pain, or you've been in a situation where you know you've had your wing knocked out, or you've had a bone broken or something like that. It's like you could feel it, and so you could cut. There's a lot of the injuries that happen. I cut the TV off. Don't even look at it. But see, when you playing, And when you out there and you giving it your all and everything, you got to be wired different. You got to be wired different. What's up with it, Switch Life? What's up with it, Nola? I see you in the building, bro. Y'all go subscribe to both of my guys' channel. The boy Sonny Switch Life Media, and go subscribe to the homeboy Nola Boy Sports and News with the brother James. I see you in the building, man. I saw you cooking today, man. Shout out to James, man. 504 always. But you got to be wired different, you know. And a lot of people don't understand that. Some of these guys, man, they get on the court or they get on the field, they're thinking like like it's because it is a job. People actually ask, why are you kissing your wife or your kids before you go out on the field or before you go out on the court or before you step in the ring? Because you don't know if you're gonna make it out again. There are players. Um, there have been boxers that have died either on the field, on the court, or in the ring, and that's a fact. So you got to be wired different because you are going to war. But a lot of people, they look at sports, unlike me and some of the other brothers, they look at sports like a damn video game, and it's not like that, especially if you played. You know, I look at the game much different. Like when it comes to football, basketball, stuff like that, I look at the game much different. A lot of you guys won't even pay attention to a game that nobody's watching. Like for instance, I'm back in the days, I was looking at, like, nobody really liked to pay attention to the Spurs or like a trash team at the time in the Detroit Pistons or something like. Well, no, I can't say the Pistons. Man, who was trash during that time? Uh, like the Kings, or something like that. A team that wasn't really that great, and I would just sit there and just watch it just for the hell of it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody else would be like, "Oh, I ain't watching this game unless a particular player was playing." But me, I'll pay attention to another player. Like I'm pretty sure, like if I was watching the game with the brother James, it, we could sit there and we could identify. Oh man, like we could watch a junior college game or a high school game or something like that, and find it interesting because we'll be like, oh man, that guy, he's gonna be something in the next couple of years. He just needs to work on his footwork and get a little bigger or something like that. Or you'll look at a college that's not really getting no exposure or something like that, but they're playing on ESPN. They might be getting blown the fuck out, but you'd be like, well, at least that guy, he's got heart. You know what I'm saying? He's still out there playing. They might be down by like 20 or 30, but he's still playing hard or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got to be wired different in order to look at the game like that. And not many people are looking at the game like that. Like when Ricky Rubio got hurt just recently, people are like, oh, well, what's the big deal? Ricky Rubio is still valuable to a squad. He might not be the point guard that you want him to be, but look at the Cavs and look how phenomenal they playing under his veteranship. And I was like, well, that's a big loss. That's what I was telling Young earlier. That's a huge loss because to average, I think it was 13.6 or 14 points and 6 assists, and have a high assist to turnover ratio. But see, the average person that just pays attention to just one player or one team or one guy or just a couple people, they don't understand that. and you got to be wired differently. You got to have a athlete's mindset. And some of these guys, some of these people that I talk to, I could tell you don't have an athlete's mindset because you'll be like, he trash, he garbage, he can't do this, he can't do that. But are you wired enough to stand in front of him? Half of you wouldn't. Half of you wouldn't. So we got to really understand what we're saying. You know, a lot of y'all guys, y'all use your fingers and you type and you say this and you say that, and everything is social media based. But when it comes down time for the get down or whatever, y'all not ready. You know, people are laughing at some of these guys like Mario Chalmers and Lance Stevenson and Collison, even Joe Johnson. They laughing at guys like that. But can you get out there? Because you got to think about it. It's hard to get a contract, even a 10-day contract. When they get the call up, look, Mario Chalmers, he said Lester Wallace. Oh, this was right. Managing that sub. But didn't know you had a channel. Yeah, I got a channel, Lester. Of course I do. James know about my channel, man. Um, James done stood 10 toes down with me. You know what I'm saying? And James played the game. That's why I could conversate with a nigga like James. You know, I could conversate with T. Sometimes, like if I talk to a guy like James or Ticket or some of the other fellas, even a guy like LB, even the homie Goat Mike. You know what I'm saying? They don't place. We look at the game much different. Whereas you have people that critique these motherfuckers as if they never touched a ball in their motherfucking life. Do you know how hard it is to bounce the fuck back up after being elbowed in your temple, which people died from? Do you know how hard it is to be undercut and you could pretty much lose your life by getting undercut and be able to bounce back when these guys have expectations because they're like, oh, okay, are you good? Are you good? Are you good? They're not checking to see if you're good because they care about you. They're checking to see if you're good. A lot of those guys are checking to see if you're good. Some of those guys actually hope that you injured so that they could get they spot to shine. And see, that's a whole nother dimension right there. But see, that's the cutthroat aspect of sports too. It's like, yeah, he's hurting everything, but I got my opportunity. You know, you could look at it from that perspective. But you have to be wired different in order to look at things the way that I do. I was talking to Luda Ryder earlier. Shout out to Luda Ryder Sports. Go sub to his channel. Luda Ryder was talking about Embiid and KD, talking trash, which we won. We got that win yesterday. But everybody's always like, KD, oh, I thought he was quiet. I thought he was this. I thought he was so innocent and all this other bullshit. Draymond Green put him on blast and said he's one of the best. He talks the most shit in the league and you wouldn't even know it. And I believe that because KD, he went to school out here and I heard some stories about him when, he would be at open gym and stuff like that. You know, but I said that you can't make it in the professional league if you're a weak-minded individual, if you're weak-minded, man, you might as well just go ahead and go to church because you're gonna get some shit that's said to you. Look at how they talk about his hair. A lot of y'all motherfuckers are so sensitive and stuff like that to where, look at how they talk about LeBron James' hair all the time. Look at how they talk about KD's hair. Think about when you talk about their hair, or you talking about some silly shit like that, how they look. They used to talk about Tyrone Hill. You got to be wired differently in order to take some of that stuff. Motherfuckers, in the arena or in the crowd heckling you, calling you, telling you how ugly you are, telling you this, telling you that, on some busy bone shit. Be like, y'all ugly motherfuckers or something like that. Shout out to Busy Bone. But at the verses and stuff. But you got to be wired differently. You got to be wired differently. And a lot of you don't really seem to understand it. Y'all think that these guys are just all prima donnas. There's some guys that are prima donnas, but they're not successful. You know, LeBron, he's not a prima donna. You can't be a prima donna and be able to still go out there at 20 years in the league and still be able to do that. John Morant is not a prima donna. You can't be a prima donna, hurt your knee, and then bounce back after a couple games later and then score 41 points. You can't do that. You got to be wired differently. You have to be wired differently, and some of y'all don't y'all can't grasp that. Y'all can't comprehend that at all. What's up with it? Wait, what? What's up with it? 3,000. I see you in the building. 3,000. Do you got a page, man? Yeah, but Joel Embiid, Nola, he needs to shut the fuck up. For real, he needs to shut the fuck up. That's what to me that's his curse right there. That's his downfall is him talking too much. Like that's why LeVar Ball, he put him on blast on Twitter, saying that all he does is get hurt and use Twitter fingers all the time. How can you be successful on the court if you're not out here playing? And LeVar Ball was right, even though LeVar Ball he might have not been as successful as Joel Embiid or even his boys, but LeVar Ball is a personal trainer and he coaches. And sometimes while you might not be great as a coach, I mean great as a player, you could be that much better as a coach because you might be able to see things differently. Whereas, you being on the floor or whatever, you might not be able to be as talented or have the know-how like some of these other guys do. But Joel Embiid needs to shut up, plain and simple, because all he needs to do, it's just like with when Gilbert Arenas was talking about that silly shit about Kobe Bryant, talking about the black mongoose and all that bullshit, talking about he lit him up for 60 and all that other stuff. That shit don't mean nothing. And as a matter of fact, all it takes is you saying something about it in order for that guy to be infuriated and to use that as motivation. A lot of guys they do that. That's why I'm saying you have to be wired different. But you still got to be able to control your emotions. That's why like when people talk shit about Canelo, I laugh because this guy, he's a humble savage to say the least. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yes, I do. Not much content. I went on an unplanned lot. No, 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 no. Fuck that 3,000. Hey, y'all go subscribe to my boy 3,000 degrees. Go subscribe to his channel. Anybody that got a channel on here, you know what I'm saying? That's what we do over here at LDBC, man. We ain't selfish. go subscribe to his channel. We ain't selfish, man. That's what we do. James, he'll shout you out. That's why, I fucks with James, I fucks with Ticket, fuck with Tura, fuck with LB, fuck with LVZ, showing love, fuck with Hitman, fuck with Goat Mike. They gonna share your videos. You know what I'm saying? They gonna like your shit, and they also gonna talk about your channel. So salute to 3,000. Let's get them up there. We fuck with everybody around here, even the people that don't fuck with me. It don't matter. That's what it's about. So salute to 3,000. Keep grinding, homie. Yeah, but it takes a special individual to play and see. My nigga James, he played longer in football than I did. To be able to play both sports, football and basketball, that's really to play three goddamn sports like Bo Jackson as did, playing football, basketball, I think, and baseball and running track, doing all that other stuff. To play multiple sports, and people look at me because my daughter, she in something every year. She's like, well, she's only 5 years old, and okay, after karate, she gonna get in soccer. After soccer, she gonna get in basketball. After basketball, she gonna get in swimming. After swimming, she gonna, and keep them busy. What you want to do? Stick them in front of the tablet? Because I know my daughter, she's too, she's hyper, and she wants to do a million things. For a minute, she'll be dancing. She'll dance and have the tablet to herself. Then she want to run all around the house. Then she wants to sit down. She wants to color. You know, at that age, you see something. But at the same token, I threw her in a tournament, in a karate tournament. Then she hadn't been practicing but maybe about a month and a half. And they were like, well, we have a tournament. The sensei uh, made an announcement. We have a tournament, such and such day. And I was like, yeah, I want to sign up for the tournament. They were like, are you sure? And I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna throw in. But she's only been. I said, look, just tell me what a goddamn tournament at. Well, you have to pay this amount. And da, 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 da. They always try to act like motherfuckers ain't got no money and shit like that. I'm like, here, what else you need? Threw her in the tournament. Everybody walked out of there with a medal. She nailed all the kicks, all the punches. With doing everybody on drills. And matter of fact, there were three other kids in her age group that were scared to go out there because when you go to those karate tournaments and taekwondo tournaments, that place is packed full of everybody competing and stuff on all different ages and stuff. And I threw her in there, and people were walking up to me. Oh my God! Wow, she's such a natural. How long has she been doing this? How old is she? She's big for 5 years old. Is she 7? I'm like, nah, this is her first tournament. You know what I'm saying? She came up in there because she was nervous at first. But see, that's the thing. Way woo way. It has to do with yin and yang. Uh, that means do without thinking. The more you think about it, the more you see you got to be wired different. And that my daughter just got something in it. Now my son, he gonna be because he hit me in my eye before he went to his grandmother's. You know what I'm saying? So I said, oh yeah, he different. I'm finna go take him to go see because one of the boxing coaches wanna just play with him and rough him up and stuff. Yeah, what's up with it, Big Who? I see you in the building. But that's what it's about. It's about the future. You know what I'm saying? And I set them straight. Like, people they try to criticize like me and my nigga James and stuff like that because we be working all the time. listen, I don't have all the technology and stuff like that, you, for this page and all the graphics or anything like that. I'm just myself because I don't have that type of time. I got a million and one things to do, but I'm not gonna cheat the people regardless, So just what I try to do. So 3,000, man, like I tell you, just keep on pushing and be yourself. Like I wouldn't want my nigga James to get up there and, well, hello, how are you guys doing? No, I want that motherfucker to be himself. He like, nah, nigga, this team is ass. They shit water. Colin LeBron, the role play, the role player and all that. I'll be tripping out on that nigga, nigga James, man, something else, man. But oh, I just want niggas to, to be themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like it might get a little hype and everything, but I don't try to be nobody else because everybody. This is the outlet, and this is. I told James one time, man, this is therapeutic for us. This is fun, but I don't take it so serious to the point where my life, it's a matter of life or death on this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't getting no six figures or no bag off of this shit, but I do it because, there's some guys that want to hear stuff about different aspects of sport. I don't like talking about one player. Me and my nigga James, we don't talk about just one thing. We talk about everything. I can sit there and talk to James about football. I could talk to Luda Ryder about football, about other stuff. Yeah, I like basketball. That's my first love. But I love the shit out of boxing. You know what I'm saying? I like the fact that Anthony Joshua is training with Mayweather. But if you're not talking about LeBron, or if you're not talking about the Lakers, or if you're not talking about just one particular player or something like that, people are disinterested. Hey, that shit don't bother me because that shows how rounded you are. And most of the guys that I talk to is well rounded. That's just like what I was talking about the other day. This one motherfucker, well, I ain't gonna call him a motherfucker. He was an older guy, but he didn't think that Ticket knew anything about like history, or he didn't know he was like coming off like as he was more educated than Ticket or something like that. And he asked him a question about JFK to think that Ticket didn't know some shit like that. Man, are you out of your fucking mind? Okay, just don't judge, a person just because of the way that they talk or the way that they walk or anything like that, thinking that that person is less educated than you, because that's where you're wrong, and that's where guys will pull the okey doke on you. So all of my guys are well rounded that I talk to or whatever, and that I conversate amongst the LDBC. You can't be stupid because if you're gonna step on these panels, or you're gonna go and you're gonna go debate people, or you're gonna try to cook people and all this other stuff, you better come with your shit and you better back it up with facts. Because technology's so high now, people are gonna chin check you on that shit. I don't know why that motherfucker won't. Yeah, but that's all. That's what it be about, man. It's about being versatile. You know what I'm saying? And some people trip out on me because I talk about like soccer or tennis. And they're like, man, you talk about that shit. I'm like, yeah, why not? Shit, what y'all really don't know, I love the shit out of track and field. My wife know I love it too, because I love looking at them young stallions, man, with them big ass booties, man. Like, woof, shit. Being in that in shape track figure. You feel what I'm saying? Like, looking like goddamn Gail Divas or motherfucking Marion Jones or you know what I'm saying, even gymnastics, man. Simone and Gabby and all them, you know what I'm saying? Like when they were, when they got a little bit older or whatever. That's shit. I love shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Look, y'all gonna trip out too. My mom's she used to watch figure skating. I used to watch that shit. Synchronized swimming and all that shit. Nigga, I'll be watching all that shit because it was fascinating to me. You know what I'm saying? Nigga be up in there watching synchronized swimming and shit. But man, that's all I got, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I appreciate everybody pulling up, man. Uh let's go down the line. The uh the brother, of course, Switchlight Media. Appreciate you pulling up. Go sub to his page. 3,000 Degrees. Go sub to his page. Nola Boy Sports and News with the brother James. Go sub to his page. Wait, what? Thank you for pulling up. Tyrone Church. Appreciate you pulling up. Big Who. Appreciate you pulling up, man. All of y'all. All y'all, man. I appreciate it, man. Y'all have a safe and happy and blessed new year, man. Just come home safe for 22, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're out there partying, man, just do the smart thing, man. You know what I'm saying? And don't don't do nothing messed up. You know what I'm saying? I don't advocate nobody drinking and driving and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So just be safe with what y'all doing, man. And everybody else, man, who's listening, man, y'all have a safe, happy New Year. Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment.